and welcome. Hello, and welcome, everybody. My name is Lady Shanelle, and I am your family coordinator and speaker. And I just want to talk today about a question that I received a few days ago. And I want to address it on here because I know that this question is a popular question, especially when people are talking about custody and talking about child support and the amount of child support that they need or that they desire or that they feel is necessary to take care of their children. And so the question is, should the step parents' income be considered? Should the step parents' income be considered? Now, if someone was to ask me that question in real life, in real time, my question back, and I don't really like asking a question with the question, answering the question with a question, but in this case, I would, because I want to know what is the motive or the underlining motive behind that question so that I can answer it properly. Um, and to be honest, my answer will probably still be the same, but there are some key points that I want to address if I know the motive behind it. So the question I would ask then is, would you want your income to be considered? Would you want your income to be considered regarding a child who is not biologically yours, who you have no rights to, who you receive as a bonus to a relationship that you are engaging in? 9 times out of 10, I can tell you the answer is going to be no. I don't want my income to be considered. Why don't do I want my do I not want my income to be considered? Because I don't want to be responsible for payment or any type of responsibility financially if this relationship don't work out. And rightfully so. Now, if you're saying I'm taking on the rights and the responsibilities of this child, that's one thing. But any financial contribution is out of the goodness of my heart, not because it is required of me, not because somebody is, going to beat down my door asking for money because I signed, you know what I'm saying? So most of the time, especially if a person is a bonus mom or a bonus dad, they're going to do things for the child out of the kindness of their heart because they love the child. But when you start trying to manipulate a situation or a court system by saying, well, their income should be considered, well, should their income be considered when they lose their job? Like like when they go back and say, hey, we no longer have this income, we want compensation, we want to reduce the support because my income, I lost my, no, y'all don't want that. But if the significant other of the other parent you believe is affluent enough or is making more money, or you think you should get more money because they married on and they married up, or whatever the case may be, then that is not a clear motive. That is not a right motive. That is not a righteous motive. And let's take righteousness out of it. That is just not a pure motive. Now, if you feel like you can't take care of that child and you need an extreme amount of money to take care of the child that you had with this other person, and this other person does not financially support the child enough because you chose the person's parent, that's a whole video, but you don't believe that this person financially supports the child enough, then should because they moved on because somebody obviously wanted to be with them for whatever reason, do you think that other person's income? No, that person may not know how low down of a dude this is or how low down of a girl this is. They may not know that yet, or they may have not signed up to be financially responsible for a child that they did not birth. So if you said, okay, well, I'm struggling, I'm trying to figure out a way to make sure that my child's needs are met, then there are other resources to consider. Okay. Now, if you've done your homework, you've done your due diligence, the person is paying what they're supposed to pay, you're doing what you needed to do to meet that need for the child, then, and you feel like the child is still going without, then there are resources to go and consider. Or you may need to have a talk with your co-parent and say, hey, I know y'all living in a house 10 times bigger than mine, and you're only sending $50 a month for child support, because basically that's what the law says that you're required to pay in child support. And that's not enough to support our child together. And we're living in a 500 square foot apartment. I think it's in the best interest of the child that the child, because it's in the best interest of the child. Now, a lot of y'all may not like that logic because you feel like, well, if I'm not living in the 10-story house, then my child shouldn't live in the 10-story house. My child, listen, if your child is going to go to a better school, the parent is a great parent. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying put the child in the parent's home where the parent is a terrible parent, but the parent's a pretty good parent, right? You still get to see the child whenever you want to see the child. You still have every right to the child as much as you want to have. But the parent lives in a great school district. The child is in a safe environment. The stepmom or the stepdad loves the child. I'm talking about a perfect scenario, okay? Quote unquote, right? And would you keep your child? Now, I've seen cases where moms have kept their children in the not the most safe environment. They all was sleeping in the same bed. They were going to a subpar school. They were barely eating good, well, but they felt like, I'm not letting go of my child. I will have my child live in the subpar conditions because, and I'm not gonna put I'm not even gonna put that dad on child support. Like I'm not even gonna get support to help. At least maybe we get a 2-bedroom apartment, right? And the babies can have their own bed, and I'll sleep on the couch or something, so that my child can have the best of what I can provide for them. I'm wondering what is going on underneath the surface here. Okay, just as a third party, I'm wondering what's going on beneath the surface. So, I see a lot of different scenarios, and I hear about a lot of different scenarios. And so when someone asks that type of question, my next thought is, what is underlining? What are your children going through because of the decisions that you are making out of selfish ambition or just selfishness? And how does that affect the child? Because at the end of the day, the choices that you are making is affecting, not it's not just affecting you anymore, it's affecting your children. And if you are being selfish and saying, you know what, I'm going to limit my child's access to the best in life or the best they can have because I don't want to be alone, or because I don't want to look like the lesser parent, or for whatever. I mean, y'all come up with all kind of reasons for why y'all do the things that y'all do. I don't know what you do, but my my advice, my take on it is, what is the best for your child with the situation you're in, especially if you're considering, I need to put the stepmom on child support or the stepdad on child support. Then you really need to evaluate the situation that your children are in and make a decision based on what could be the best for them. And I'm not saying this from an outside looking in. I am saying this from a place of where I've been, and a place of where I've seen children thrive when parents decided to not be selfish and decided to take on the responsibility of the decision that they made and say, you know what, this is the best for my child, and I'm going to do what I can to navigate, because I want to make sure that my children have the best experience that can be given to them. Okay. If you don't have this issue where you want to put the step parent on child support, then this video probably isn't for you. But if you are considering and you're sitting there, watching the other parent live it up, and you're like, I need to have some of that, or my child needs to have some of that, I get it. However, also what I am getting is that if It is not the step parents' responsibility. What they do is extra. What they do is from the kindness of their heart. There, it is no obligation. They don't owe your child anything but to love them. And hopefully they're doing that correctly. But if you're in a situation where your children are constantly going without, and it's all because you want to be selfish, then I am really seriously questioning how much you love your children. Y'all gonna get mad at that, but I really am, because because um your children shouldn't have to suffer because you and the dad and the mom are not together again. Like, they shouldn't have to suffer. And if that other parent is a great parent. Now, if the other parent is a bum, the other parent don't spend time with the children, the other parent isn't interested in the child and what in the child's well-being and the child's future, I get it. Stay in the one bedroom apartment, because that's the children are getting emotional support from you, right? And you need to make sure they're getting financial support to help with their rearing and the upbringing for them. But don't be so prideful to say, I'm not going to ask for support because I don't have anything to do with them, because that their dad is a bum or whatever. Listen, he is still financially responsible to help carry that load, because raising children isn't cheap. Okay, especially if we want to give them the best foundation possible for them to succeed in life. It is not it's not cheap. Okay, and so make sure the other parent is providing the support that they can provide, and you do what you can to be there emotionally, be there physically, be there spiritually, and all the things for them. But don't let that other parent off the hook because of your pride. Don't let that other parent off the hook because they don't have it together. If they have resources that could help, listen, be responsible enough and say, you know what, I'm gonna take the resources and I'm gonna make the best out of this. I'm going to make lemonade out of these lemons, and we're gonna live our best life. Okay. But for those of you who are saying, I'm listen, don't cover what that other person has. Don't try to make the step parent responsible. Don't try to drag them into the mix, because if the shoe was on the other foot, you wouldn't want to either, and rightfully so, because that is not wisdom. That is not wisdom. Unless you have full rights. I have seen parents, and I'm gonna let y'all go after this. I have seen people, not even parents, I have seen people who took on a responsibility of a parent and they had no rights. They had no, and so when they fell out with the real parent, that real parent asserted their rights and said, "Oh, I'm the parent. Yeah, I know you've been paying their bills, and I know you've been taking them everywhere, and I know you've been buying their school clothes, and I know you've been doing all this stuff. But I don't like you, and I don't like the decision you want to make, so I'm going to assert my authority." And you're like, "Man, I've been spending thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on your kids, and I don't have nope, you don't got no rights." And they do, and they go back and forth, and I'm like, why do you do that? Why why do you put yourself out there and you have no, but again, people love kids, and I get it, you do. But you also need to know that when that other parent decides that they don't need you no more today, and they don't bring their kids by, and they keeping their kids from you, and you done spent thousands of dollars on school clothes and school supplies and everything else, and camps and everything else, and that parent decides to feel a way about you one day, and they take their kids, and you're like, wait a minute, baby, that was you, that was on you. So I may create a whole video about that, because that's a very important thing. People get sucked into stuff because they love kids, and then parents start acting crazy, and then you never see those kids again, or you don't see the kids, and you like, man, I invested in something that was empty. I invested in something, in a relationship that I thought I was building, but it didn't yield the results I thought it was going to yield. And there's good that can come out of that, and we'll talk about that later. I think I am going to do a video about that. But for those of you who are parents, make sure your first priority is, what can I do to ensure I'm providing the best for my children, and I am making the best decision for them, even though it may hurt me, or it may not be the feel the best for me. but I'm going to sacrifice me for them. And with that, I want to know, as a parent, what action steps are you going to take as a result of this video? Because we know that move makers are action takers. And I want you to know that I'm counting on you and your children are counting on you to take action. So there are some links down below in the description box for those of you on YouTube for you to take an action step in the direction for what's best for your children. Listen, until next time, continue to have an amazing rest of your day. And I will see you in the next video.